Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda. I'm so glad you are here today. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. If you do, please hit that bell button so you're notified every single time that I upload and you don't miss any inspiration. Everyone, if you enjoy the content of this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up, as that is the free way to help your girl out here on YouTube. I hope you enjoy the DIYs today. Let's go! So here's an idea to make some fun, inexpensive garland for your fireplace or a wall. I grabbed a beaded garland from Hobby Lobby that was $10, but 50% off of fall items. It was only $5. Then I grabbed some of these gorgeous clip pumpkins from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to use about half of this beaded garland by simply just cutting it open and taking some of the beads off. I grab a new piece of jute and I string on 5 beads. For every 5 beads, I am then going to leave a space of about 2 inches, and then I'm going to do 5 more. I just do this as long as I want my garland to be. On each end of my group of 5 beads, I add a tiny dab of hot glue to hold my beads in place. The spaces are there so that we can clip our pumpkins on. I just form a pattern that I like and clip my Dollar Tree pumpkins on. So I just use a couple dollars in pumpkins and not even $5 in beads, as like I said, this whole thing was $5 and I only used about half. Once I'm done and I have the length of garland that I want, I just tie a loop in the end on each end, and then I have a beautiful long garland. Sorry, you can see my command strips here. I need to get some new ones that are not so large. But look how beautiful this looks on my fireplace mantle. I absolutely love it. Okay, so for our next idea, I'm going to show you how I made this absolutely beautiful wreath using up the rest of those wooden beads. So I grabbed this wreath form from Dollar Tree and I'm going to cover the entire thing in jute twine. You could use fabric, ribbon, rope, whatever you like, but actually covering this in jute twine did not take as long as you would think. It only took me about 20 minutes and I loved the result. So I glued a piece down and wrapped, and then I just trimmed off the excess. Then I grabbed these pumpkins from Dollar Tree. They come 3 to a pack on little clips, and I chose 4 colors. I am going to place my pumpkins on my wreath form in a pattern, kind of one higher, one lower, kind of in a zigzag pattern. And then I am going to take the rest of those beads on that garland and I'm going to glue it down to one end of the pumpkin arrangement and then just kind of weave it through all of my pumpkins, zigzagging it around. The only places I am going to glue is either end of the beaded garland. The beaded garland stays in place between the pumpkins and the greenery that I am going to add. So I'm gluing down the other end here and then adding one more little pumpkin clip on top of it. Once everything is secure, I am going to grab some boxwood greenery from Walmart. They are about $1 a stem and you get quite a bit on that stem. So I'm just going to pull all of the pieces off and I'm going to take each piece, apply a little hot glue to the bottom and just place it in between the pumpkins and the beads there. I do mine quite full, but you don't have to do it this full if you don't want to. You could use any type of greenery or leaves. This is very customizable and the only glue that I'm really using besides on the twine is on this greenery, so I can reuse elements of this wreath. I think it is absolutely gorgeous and very, very unique, super customizable. I hope you like it as much as I do. Please let me know what you think about it down below in the comments. If you are going to recreate this, what color pumpkins will you be using and what type of greenery will you use? Okay guys, let's talk about why this video is special. It is another collaboration with my friend Stephanie over at Mama Can Make It. She is my very best friend on YouTube and in real life. We have done collaborations before and you guys always seem to enjoy them. So we are bringing you another one today. Stephanie is bringing you some absolutely gorgeous fall tiered tray decor. I love her style. I love all of these little tier tray pieces. Here is a quick video clip of what she has prepared for you in her video today. You can go over and check her out. I know that you will not be disappointed. Please let her know that I sent you. And so the link to her video and also to her channel will be found in my description box of this video. Once again, please go and check her out. Our next idea, we're going to make this super fun, kind of funky boho style garland. We are going to begin by creating the tassels, and so I went ahead and grabbed up some yarn that my daughter had in her yarn stash, but Dollar Tree sells a bunch of yarn. I then just took the tag off one of my mushroom bags and I wrapped that yarn around the tag about 35 times, but you can do more or less. It just depends on how thick you want your tassel. I then took another piece of the yarn and I just looped it through the top. I tied a very, very loose knot just to keep that together. Then I took another piece of the yarn and about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch down, I tied this as tight as possible. I like to tie it and then flip the entire thing over and tie it again just to make sure that it is tightly secured and is not going to break apart on me. Once that is done, you can trim off any excess and then you can just go down to the bottom loop of your tassel and cut that loop open. Once that is done, you can then kind of spread everything out and just see where you need to give this little tassel a haircut, just to make everything look nice. Actually, a lot of mine I didn't even really need to haircut. They came out pretty great. So I went ahead and made multiple of these tassels, and then I took these mushrooms from Dollar Tree. They come 3 to a pack. Now, I did not have a dowel needle like a lot of YouTubers use to make garlands, so I used a screwdriver. And so I just made holes in the tops of these mushrooms. And then a little tip is to just put some hot glue on the ends of your twine to make it stiff so that it will go through the mushroom if you do not have a dowel needle, which again is easier. But however, it is possible to do it without a needle. So I am just going ahead and stringing on my mushrooms in the color pattern that I like, leaving some space in between each mushroom to go ahead and tie a tassel. So once I get some mushrooms on there, I'm going to go ahead and grab up my tassels. I'm going to untie that knot at the very top that I had just kind of loosely tied, and I'm going to use those 2 pieces of yarn to tightly tie my tassel onto my piece of twine between each mushroom. I'm just going to continue this pattern until I get the length of garland that I like. Again, these mushrooms come 3 to a pack for $1.25. I used a couple of packs and just some yarn I had on hand. So this is a very inexpensive, very fun garland. I feel like not only for fall is this a good garland, but it would also be cute for a child's room or a playroom, something like that. Just so fun and colorful. So I'm just going to go ahead and tie a little loop at either end so I can hang this garland, and here is what it looks like. I just thought this was kind of a fun, lighthearted, whimsical DIY to share with you. But I have another idea for you that's a little bit fancier and still fun. It is this spilled basket of pumpkins. So I am going to begin with a Dollar Tree trash can and a round sign from Dollar Tree, as well as some Dollar Tree wallpaper. I'm going to take the very bottom of my trash can. I had a spare bottom of trash can, and I'm going to cut it in half. Just be very careful of those edges as they are sharp. And then I'm going to take my trash can here and just cut a large piece off that I can kind of fold and manipulate into being my half basket shape. So again, just be very careful while cutting this. Use gloves if you feel like that is necessary. Then I'm just going to take this little half bottom, half circle here here, and I am just going to use it to shape this trash can piece around. And I'm just going to kind of tuck these edges into each other there, and you can kind of use tiny dabs of hot glue as necessary. And here's what you have. Just keep bending and shaping, and then these two sides here, you can kind of curl them in. And then I also folded the top down, and I just kept kind of playing with this until I got the shape of a half basket that I could go ahead and glue to my sign. Now for the sign, I flipped it over so I don't have any bumps or anything from that glitter showing through. And I just took this piece of wallpaper and just adhered it right to the side of my sign that I am going to be using. I trimmed off the excess, and then I went ahead and placed my half basket on there. I took a couple of scrap pieces of that wallpaper, applied some hot glue, and placed that down on top of the little edges of my basket that are folded under there, touching my sign, and that way it is going to hold my sign on there very well. I also applied some hot glue to the bottom of that little basket. I then took some of this Dollar Tree ribbon type. It almost looks like a rope, but it is not. It's like a mesh ribbon, and I wound it through the top of my basket. And I am also going to be putting a strip around the bottom of my basket for a little bit of decoration as well. I just trim off those ends and tack them down with a little bit of hot glue. I guess later on in the video I'm going to be adding some of this to the bottom, but for now I add some hot glue to the inside of my basket and add some of this moss from Dollar Tree. I also do this on the front of my basket so it looks like it is spilling out. And then I'm going to take some of these gorgeous sweater pumpkins from Dollar Tree. They come 3 to a pack. I chose some blue, some green, and some cream. I also had a little pick of velvet pumpkins from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put a few of them here and there. However, I think it looks cute and like they are spilling out of this little basket. I will go and add some hot glue and moss to areas where I feel like there should be a little bit of moss, and just kind of play with this and get it how I like it. I also add some hot glue and moss around the edges and the bottom of my basket, and then I just take these adorable tiny little miniature flowers from Dollar Tree and tuck them here and there just to add a little bit of cuteness, I guess. Just kind of fancy it up a bit. Now here I am creating a little bow with this Dollar Tree mesh. It's a double bow as I am tying it with 2 pieces of mesh, and then just kind of trimming my tails to get them how I want them. And I'll use some hot glue to tack this down to the lid of my little basket there. And here I am finally going to apply some of this mesh to the bottom of the basket. And I'm also going to go around the whole outer perimeter of the sign with some hot glue and also some of this mesh. And then I add another little bow to the top of the sign as well as a flower. I just placed a little piece of jute twine on the back to hang this, and here's what it looks like. If you don't like it upside down like this, you could totally just reverse your bows and flip this over and just have it with a basket with pumpkins coming out of the top. I just thought this was kind of fun and unique. I have another more modern idea for you, and that is this gorgeous Give Thanks pumpkin. I'm going to begin with a wood pumpkin cutout from Dollar Tree. This beautiful satin color blue 2X Rust-Oleum spray paint from Walmart. I'm going to spray paint my pumpkin, and then I'm going to take some of this masking tape, but painter's tape works well as well, and I am just going to space out my stripes by using a small piece in the middle like so. That way I get my stripes equal all the way across my pumpkin. Once that is done and my whole pumpkin is covered in these strips, I am then going to paint it with my Waverly Plaster chalk paint. And then when I remove these pieces of tape, I'm going to have absolutely gorgeous stripes that came out really well. And once that is done, then I'm going to paint the stem of my pumpkin with this Waverly Plaster as well. And then I can go ahead and embellish. This was so easy and fun to create. So here I am just was painting my stem, and I did use 2 coats of the Waverly plaster as a side note there. Now I had this little spare sign in my stash, but any little spare wood piece that you have or spare sign works well. I painted it with Waverly plaster, and I took this little give thanks that came in a package of words from Dollar Tree and spray painted it, as well as these little laser cut leaves that came in a package from Dollar Tree. I spray painted those as well with the same blue that I used on my pumpkin. I'm going to be gluing these down to my little scrap sign here, just kind of the way that I like them, and then I can glue this little piece right in the middle of my pumpkin there, just using hot glue, but you could use any type of glue that you wanted to. Then I'm just going to form a simple double looped bow with this beautiful Dollar Tree ribbon. I'm just going to fold it over on either side twice. For this bow, I guess I decided to do 3 times, so I also put a strip down the middle there like you see. I trimmed off the excess and then I tightly tie it in the middle with a piece of twine. I like to really make sure that the middle of my bow is very tight, and so that way I can give it a nice good fluffing and kind of get the loops of the bow to stand how I want them. So once that is done and all excess is trimmed off, I can go ahead and use a generous amount of hot glue to adhere this bow to my pumpkin. So here's my bow, and I fluff it out a little bit before I put it on the pumpkin, and then also more once it is adhered to the pumpkin. So here we go, applying this to my pumpkin, and then I can just finish decorating here. So I add this on, I hold it down for a second until it dries, fluff it out, and then I'm going to add some tails by taking 2 extra strips of this ribbon, cutting a triangle upward in the bottom to give it a dovetailed look, and then just sliding it under each side of my bow and applying a little hot glue. That way it has some pretty tails. So there is how I did that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add some pretty greenery in on either side of my bow, kind of in and around, however I like this. You could use spare greenery, leaves, whatever you like. And then I had this beautiful little leather tag from Dollar Tree. They come 2 to a pack, but I'm going to use this cute little leather pumpkin. I take off the little hanger at the top. I'm going to use this for my larger pumpkin, and then I just glue down this leather pumpkin after cutting off its little stem because I did not want that hole to be visible. I'm going to take that little piece of leather that was tied onto my leather pumpkin, and I'm just going to string it through the top of my pumpkin and tie a little knot, and that way I'm kind of tying in that leather look and making this whole project cohesive. This was such a quick and easy project, but again, it's so customizable. If you don't like the color blue I have chosen, you could do green, orange, yellow, purple, whatever you like. I just think that this is so classy looking and I really like it. So please let me know how you feel about all of these projects below in my comment section. Thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. I really hope that you enjoy it, gathered some inspiration. If you would like to find me on Instagram, the link is in the description box. If you have any questions or comments about today's video, please leave them down in the comment section below. Thank you once again for watching, and stay safe, friends. Here is a last minute look at all of the projects that we have created today. And also, please do not forget to head over to Mama Can Make It. Tell Stephanie that I said hi. Check out her content. You will not be disappointed. Stay safe, friends. I will see you very soon. Take care.
You can subscribe to my mom's channel. And thank you for watching today's craft, and stay safe.